Hello there! This is Music Man 0150, also known as Gary. And yes, I am back again with another video. And today's video is going to demonstrate on how to clean your tape heads and capstan and pinch roller. And the candidate for this demonstration is going to be a General Electric 3-5247A AM/FM cassette recorder that also contains rechargeable batteries in it. And as you can see, I already have the unit opened up, and now I'm in the process of thoroughly cleaning the heads and the pinch roller, because with it assembled, you can get to the heads and the pinch roller, but not as efficient as with it disassembled as you see here. Not only that, the main purpose of doing this was to see if I can tighten the antenna base, but on this particular radio I don't want to start taking things way apart, because if I mess up the tuning string, then that shoots the radio portion, and I don't want to do that. I'd rather do that with one that is not working up to standards. And I got 7 more of these, which 3 out of the 7 are not working as they should. In fact, one is in real severe workmanship, so that's probably the one that I will use to strip down and see what can be taken out and how things come apart, and then try to put it back together as best I can, even though it won't work. And well, it doesn't work to begin with, so it really won't matter if I mess it up even more. It'll be good practice in knowing how these things are disassembled from this portion. Because there is one where the tape deck wasn't playing quite right. The capstan was scraping on something inside the unit, and when I went to try to fix it just by pulling the capstan forward, the belt must have slipped off. And that's another reason I'd like to try to get these further apart, so that if the belts ever break, I would know how to replace the belt on these as well. But for this demonstration, we're going to show you how to clean the heads and the pinch roller. And the alcohol that I'm going to use is this stuff here. This is isopropylene alcohol, 99%. And I got this on Amazon. Now, I don't know if they are still selling this or not. I have not seen this in stock for quite a while, and that's probably because of the pandemic. Everybody's been buying it out to sanitize everything with it. But I do have a nice big bottle here, and I always make sure that I keep it closed tight so it doesn't evaporate, because I don't know whether I'll be able to find that stuff again. Maybe I will once things settle down with this pandemic. But anyway, let's go ahead and let me make sure I got this in camera view, which I do. In fact, let me try to get it a little bit closer. Okay, that's about as close as I can get it. Now I'll have to try not to get in the way so that you can actually see how to do this, for those of you that are still unsure on how to clean your heads and pinch roller and capstan. So what I've done is I've put some alcohol on this foam swab. Now this is the kind of swab you want to use. It doesn't necessarily have to be this particular swab with the green handle, okay? You don't have to go that literal. But I do recommend a foam swab, because if you use Q-tips like a cotton swab, there's a good chance that the cotton will leave little tiny fibers on the head and also get caught in the capstan and pinch roller, and that could lead to some problems down the road. So it's best to use a foam swab. Now what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to go ahead and engage the play button so that it brings the heads forward, and just very lightly go back and forth on the erase head. You always want to do the erase head too, because the tape does travel on that. Even though it might be a permanent magnet, you still want to do that because of the oxides from the tape. So we're going to go ahead and clean that. Clean the mechanism that allows the tape to shut off at the end. And then the head itself. All you want to do is just a few strokes back and forth, just to make sure that it's clean. You can go either side to side or up and down. It doesn't really matter how you do it. Just make sure that you do it lightly. And now we'll do the capstan and the pinch roller. Now the capstan and the pinch roller, I find that if the unit is running, you can actually get a better result in it being clean, because then it's turning against the foam swab. In fact, let me see if I have an electrical cord, and we'll go ahead and put some power to it, and that way we can really get that. We can get that capstan and pinch roller nice and clean. I do have some cords in this drawer here. I know you can't see right now because it's off camera, but I'm looking for the proper cord that will fit the back of the unit. And right now I don't see one. I mean, I see similar ones, but not the one that I really need. I'm looking in a different drawer now. Ah, here's one. Let's see. No, that one won't work either. Ah, here's one. Here's one. I found one. This is the kind of cord you need. Let me show you. See, it's got to have that end on it with the two holes like that, and then of course your standard plug on this end. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let me zoom out while I hook this up. That way you can see what's going on here. Yeah, this is actually one of the cords for these units, because it's got the red tag on it that GE, General Electric, mounts, tapes or puts on these cords for, protection purposes. So what we're going to do is very carefully, we're going to maneuver this upward like this, and we'll make sure it's in the tape mode, because I have no idea where the volume is at this point. And I took the knobs off so I can get the front off, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is plug this in like this, being very careful not to harm anything, because this is one of my better units. Carefully lay it back down. It's going to be laying on the cord, but it's only going to be for a matter of a few minutes, not long at all. You don't want to ruin the cord. And let's take the other end right here, plug it in, and it should immediately get power, which it did. Because the wheel's turning. Let me give you a close-up of that. I just put my hand on the wheel to confirm it, but you can see how that right wheel is turning because it's in play mode. Now it'll be a lot easier to clean the head, or we did the head, now we're going to do the capstan and the pinch roller. And the pinch roller is right here. And all I'm doing is just putting the swab on the roller. And the machine is doing the work. And as a result, there is some dirt on there. So it's a good thing I decided to do this preventative maintenance. Because I've played tapes on this. And I must have played tapes more than I thought on this particular unit. So yeah, take a look at the swab. That came off of the pinch roller. That's what accumulates when you play tapes, on the pinch roller especially. And see, when that gets clogged up like that, that's what can cause problems where your tapes are eaten by the machine. The machine will actually pull the tape out of the housing, and it will more or less eat the tape. And then it's a challenge to get it out. Especially on these units. If you get a tape that's stuck in these units, it's very difficult to get them out because the tape goes in the lid, the cassette goes in the lid, and if the tape gets stuck, then it's hard to open the lid unless you break the housing of the cassette. And then when you're trying to get the tape out of the pinch roller and the capstan, that's a challenge, because if the tape breaks, then you got a mess of tape around the pinch roller and the capstan, and it just leaves a whole mess. It leaves a big mess to try to fish out of there. So as you can see, that is really, really dirty. So I'm going to go ahead and do another cleaning on that. Throw that swab away so it's not reused. And I have another, I still have some here in the bag. I'll show you the bag that I have. And let me zoom out first so you can see better. Okay, this is the bag I have. See, and there's a mixture of swabs in there. I got some with green handles, some with white handles, because they were different. They were bought on the same site, Amazon.com, but they were different companies. Because at the time, some of them were out of stock, and I needed some others, so I just went and got what was available. So let me pull out another one here. I know it's off camera, but let me pull one out. A nice fresh one. Just threw the swab bag back on the shelf there, on the table and workbench, whatever. Now here's a nice clean swab here. Okay, that's what they should look like when you start using them. You never want to use a dirty one or a semi-dirty one, because then you're defeating the purpose. So now, let's see if I can get this in the camera here. I'm pretty sure it's in the camera. So what I'm going to do is just dip this into the alcohol. I kind of stir it just a little bit to make sure that the foam is absorbed with the alcohol. And you can see how it kind of turned a little bit green. Well, that's because it's wet. The foam is wet and it becomes transparent. That's why it looks green. That's normal for these kind of swabs. If it's white, you probably won't see a color change in the swab in that effect. But now let's go ahead one more time. Do the erase head. Oh, let me zoom in first so you could see again. Oops. There. Okay. Let me back up. There we go. That's good. I want to make sure you can really see what I'm doing here. So we're going to go ahead like this along the erase head, the auto stop mechanism. And did you hear how it stopped just by touching that? That means that that mechanism is working the way it's supposed to. If it's that sensitive, that means that it is working the way it's supposed to. So that's good. Now we'll go ahead and do the head one more time. And when you rub on the head and it feels like it's squeaky clean, that's a good sign. That's a definite good sign. Okay. Yeah, that's good. And one more time on the capstan. Now you hear it squeaking? That's because the foam kind of got stuck. Yeah, see, the foam kind of got stuck in between the capstan and pinch roller. But that's the reason you want to use foam, is for that reason, because if it was cotton, it would get stuck. You would have all these little fibers in between there, and that, if you go to play a tape, there's a chance that it could get caught. See, it's getting caught. So I'm going to have to switch hands. I know you won't be able to see with my other hand, but the way this is set up, you might not be able to see it, and I do apologize for that. But maybe you can. Just letting the machine do its work. Yeah, see, now there's no black accumulating on the swab, which is good. Now we're doing the capstan again at a different angle so it doesn't get stuck. And see, the capstan and the pinch roller, they turn the opposite way, and that's what pushes the tape. That's what guides the tape along. And then this wheel right here keeps the tape from getting caught in the pinch roller and the capstan. If this wheel stops, then you have a problem with the tape getting caught. Yeah, I'm rubbing this. I'm just putting the foam swab on the pinch roller, and it's squeaking. It's a squeaky rub, and that's good. That's what you should have, is a squeaky rub. That means there's no residue on there or anything like that. So, okay. That takes care of that, and you can see on this swab, see, there's just a little tiny bit maybe of some oxide, but not like it was on the first swab. The first swab took care of most of it. And that isopropylene alcohol is really, really good to clean up that oxide from tapes. It's really, really good, and that's what I recommend. Rubbing alcohol is not as efficient because it could leave a residue, whereas isopropylene alcohol at 99% level, especially this stuff here, let me just remind you what it is in case you want to try to look for it. That's what you want to get, or something very similar to that. Because this stuff, this is what's used when you buy those head cleaners for cassettes or video cassettes. That's probably what they use, is they use that isopropylene alcohol fluid in those little tiny bottles that come with the wet cleaners. I'm pretty sure that's what they use, because it has that similar alcohol smell, and that's what you want to use, and it works really, really good to get rid of that oxide on tape heads, pinch rollers, capstans, and it even works on the pulleys for belts. I've used that on the belts for tape recorders and VCRs and that. It really helps. It helps to keep the belts from slipping. So that's what I recommend. So now we'll shut this off, and we'll let that sit a couple minutes so that that dries. I'll zoom back here, and I'll show you that I have some of these other radios here. They're about this, they're the same. They're exactly the same as that one, except these are not working very good. In fact, I want to show you this one here that I got in my hand. Wait till you see it. This is another one, a 3-5247A by GE, rechargeable radio cassette recorder. But notice how the plastic is all frosted, and it was like that when I got it. Don't know what caused that frost, unless air got in between the plastic, which caused the frost. And also the antenna here, if you can see it, it's not as shiny as the one that's on the unit that's being serviced right now. And look at the buttons too. They don't have a decent shine either. In fact, the play button, you can see it won't even come up all the way. So that's what's causing these buttons not to stay down, and you can't even open the lid, because this play button doesn't come up all the way. So this is a good candidate to explore as far as what can come apart, you know, as far as beyond opening the front, because that's how these open up. As you see, these have it where the front opens up, where is on the 3-5213B and the 3-5216B, those radios, the back comes off and you can get to the belt real easy. But these, the front comes off. And another reason I want to use this one here for a candidate to really strip down is I want to see what kind of nickel cadmium batteries are in there. You know, the built-in rechargeables. I'd be curious to see what kind of batteries they have in there as far as the nickel cadmiums. Because if that's easy to get to, and they're just nothing more maybe than AA's, then I got AA's that I could stick in there, and that are rechargeable, and it would charge up, and then I wouldn't even have to worry about putting extra batteries in here. And this is the only model that General Electric ever made that was rechargeable. It's the only model. And I could see why these were very popular, because then people didn't have to buy auxiliary batteries for it. Well, they could if they wanted to get the, you know, the extra operation time, which is nice, because if you had the rechargeables and also the backups, then if the rechargeables go down first, then you have your backup batteries to continue to have power. And that's what I would usually do. Like when I would go on trips with the band, I would have this particular radio with me, not this exact one, but it was this model, the 3-5247A, and I would listen to it, you know, on the long bus rides, and I would always use the rechargeable batteries first, and then once those would go down, then I would switch over to the backup batteries, and it would last. I mean, it would last the entire time I was on a trip, because I didn't use the backup batteries that much. And if I did have backup batteries in there, which I naturally did, they were alkalines. They were alkalines, the Energizers, I believe, and they lasted a long time. And then when I got to the destination where there was electricity, then I would just plug in the radio, the little charge light would come on, and it would charge up the internal rechargeable batteries. So that's why I like these very much. So I would love to get the rechargeable circuit working again, even if it's just on one of them. I would love to do that. So let's go ahead and put this thing back together, since there's nothing else that we need to do with it. So I'm going to unplug it first, make sure there's no power to it. Unplug my other end of the cord. And let me just give you another close-up of the inside before I put it back together, so you can kind of see. Oops, sorry about the jerkiness there. So you can see the details of the inside there. I know it's not a good angle because it's not overhead, but at least you can kind of get an idea on what's involved. Now, one nice thing about these is the speakers are very easy to get to, and that little white connector that you see right here, that connects the speakers to the rest of the unit. So I've changed these speakers on previous models. In fact, the very first one that I had, the original one that I had many years ago, I've changed the speaker 3 times, because the first one got wet. Then the second one that I put in there, it worked for a while, but then it was starting to decay because of the cone. The cone was kind of getting dry rotted. So then I had put a third one in there, and it worked. It worked until finally the unit was just not able to operate anymore. In fact, I can't remember exactly what happened. Oh, I know what happened to it. The tape mechanism was malfunctioning. That's what happened to it. Very similar to the one that I just recently got. Well, I've had it now for about 6 months. And the mechanism was all messed up on the original one. So as a result, I just parted it out and scrapped it, because at that time it was the only one I had, and I figured why keep it. But now, like I said, I got 8 of these, and 5 of them work. 5 of them work pretty well. In fact, this one here that I'm putting back together now is one of the better out of the 5 that function the way they should. So now I'm just going ahead and putting this back together. Let's see, do I have, whoops. Yeah, we're zoomed out all the way. Okay, yeah. Now, trying to get this back on here. And what's tricky is you have to get these cassette buttons through the top, and then There we go. And then line it up on the bottom so then everything fits as it should. And now it's back together. I'm not going to put the screws in yet. Well, actually, maybe I should because the way this is designed, the tape goes in the lid here, like I told you, and yeah, I better put the screws in first, and then we'll give it a test. So I'll leave the camera running while I put the screws in, so you can kind of see the process of that. And if you look closely over here, let me get the camera over there. I'm gonna have to move this, so got to pardon the movement here. But I want to show you the types of screws that this thing uses. And if you could see there within the mess, see there's 2 black screws and 3 silver ones. Now there's supposed to be a 6th screw, but it wasn't in there, or else I had taken it out and just put it aside. But it still holds good together with 5. But anyway, as you can see how the screws are, the threads don't go all the way to the top of the head of the screw. The threads only go so far, and then they stop. But you can see how they're different lengths, and that's what makes these units easy to put together as well, because of the different size screws. You almost can't make a mistake in putting the unit back together. So let me put the camera this way, and I'm going to try to do this as quick as I can because I'm starting to run out of battery power. So let's see here. Pardon my head for just a minute. Okay, here's the screw that goes in here. I'm going to put the screws in first and then tighten them up, and that way I know exactly where they're supposed to go. These 2 long silver ones go here. There's one there. Sometimes you have to turn the screw to fish it in there. Okay, there's those 2. There's a black one, and then there should be one more black one right here. One black one will go here. And the other black one will go here. And there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video for right now because I'm low on battery. So I'm going to pause the video while I get the screws tightened and plugged in, and then we'll give it a quick test on the tape deck. Okay, I'm back, and we got the video all put back together, and it sounds good. I'm just going to do like a 5 to 10 second clip of the tape that's in there because it sounds like a pre-recorded song. I just grabbed a tape that I had in my collection. It was one of those blank cassettes that you have stored, and I don't even know what's on it, but we're just going to give it like a 5 to 10 second play so that there's no chance of getting a copyright strike on YouTube. So here we go. Okay, so you can tell that it sounds really, really, really good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just flip the tape over, and we're going to do a test recording. Let me see if there's a good spot here on the end that we can use. Yeah, here's a good spot. It's blank there, so we'll just go ahead and record and see what we get. Now testing the 3-5247A AM/FM cassette recorder after cleaning the heads. Okay, now let's go ahead and play that back. Now testing the 3-5247A AM/FM cassette recorder after cleaning the heads. Sounds great. So that's how you can restore your tape machine. It could be, you know, it could be a radio cassette combo like that, or it could just be a cassette recorder. And that's all you have to do. And if you do that periodically, your cassettes, for those of you that like the vintage cassette sound, your cassettes will last a good long time. Sound quality will maintain itself, and you can also make recordings on your cassettes that come out as good as the machine is. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will have more repair and preventive maintenance videos to come. And as I said, I'm going to hopefully start a Patreon channel that will go into more depth of this stuff, and also demonstrate some arcade games and give you some tips and tricks on how to play them and how to go through them, and all kinds of neat things that I'd like to do on the Patreon channel. So hopefully I get that going soon. But until next time, or the next video, take care. Put your thumbs up if you like it. Click the bell for notifications, and leave comments saying that you like it, or you want to see more, or there's something that I missed, or whatever you need to say, but keep it within reason. So until next time, this is MusicMan0150 signing off, and hope everybody has a great day. Stay safe, and we will be with you again real soon, and sorry for the jerk of the camera. Have a great one. Bye for now.